Tommy.
How's it going, man?
How you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing great. The last time we talked, I think the Rays were up, was it like a game and a half game, and now what's it, 4? What's going on with your Bo Sox, man? Are they slipping?
Apparently they forgot how to hit, but here we go. Let's start episode 70. Let's go.
Agility from the champion. Oh, deep 6! That could be it. Delivers this deep 6.
Good evening. This is episode 70 of the Deep Six Pro Wrestling Podcast. Tommy, as soon as you started talking Rays baseball, it was time to hit the music and get the show started.
I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you.
Oh, man. Yeah, my Boston Red Sox are not... They apparently forgot how to hit the ball, and they blew an 8-4 lead yesterday. They Springer hit a 3-run homer deep to center field in the 8th inning. The Toronto Blue Jays have been very good. They're putting a lot of heat on our teams.
It's going to be good, man. I mean, even as much as we both don't want to agree with it, the Yankees have been pretty darn good too. The top 4 teams in the AL East it's gonna be a battle for the next month and a half, and I'm pretty darn excited about it.
So to those of you guys that are watching, this is episode 70. We've done 70 episodes. Not to mention the watch-alongs we've done. We're really probably about 80.
Yeah, we haven't done a watch-along.
But ever since we've been keeping track, we're counting the episodes. Yeah. Episode 70, 30 more away from 100.
I know, man. It's going to start getting even bigger this week. You know, we got Rampage coming up, AEW Rampage debuting on Friday, and I think maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but there's supposed to be some like big debut next week on AEW Rampage. It so happens to take place in a
rumor has it.
Yeah, no rumors.
Rumor has it, because nothing's official, so it's gonna be a surprise that CM Punk.
Yeah, this is your Tommy
debuting.
Tommy guarantee. Let me stamp it right here. The Deep Six Pro Wrestling guarantee. CM Punk will be at Rampage next Friday. I'm calling it.
12,000 tickets sold out to that arena, United Airlines Arena, right away. As soon as tickets went on sale, 12,000 sold. All these fans are banking on the fact that CM Punk will be showing up next Friday in Chicago. But they're also forgetting that AEW returns to Chicago in 2 weeks after that for Dynamite, Rampage, All Out. Imagine if, let's just say CM Punk is actually signed right now, which we don't know.
Yeah.
But imagine if he is, and AEW decides to do a little bait and switch and have CM Punk come out while I'm there for the first time.
I don't.
But I don't think so. The heavy rumors right now are for
the fact
Chicago
that
on Rampage.
It seems like his first opponent's going to be Darby. Darby doesn't really have an opponent for All Out. I mean, All Out, Darby versus CM Punk. Talk about a match that I'd pay for just the pay-per-view. I'm sure I'm not alone in that. For just that match is what I meant. That's going to be a hell of a match if it does happen. There's just too much writing on the fact that if CM Punk is not there, AEW is going to get a lot of shit. And I really do think with the way releases
for letting the rumors slide, and AEW neither confirming nor denying.
They need to take advantage of WWE's kind of bad couple months and just run with it. And I think if they do that on that, especially against, you have to remember, they're going up against SmackDown. That first night will be up against SmackDown.
Right after SmackDown, 10 o'clock.
Oh, is it started at 10?
So they do not overlap.
Oh, well, that stinks.
That would be very interesting, though, if they don't.
Darn it. I was under the whole impression that it's, darn it.
So
It would've been better.
again, we're assuming it looks like CM Punk is gonna show. Listen, if he doesn't show up by the time All Out comes around, he's never coming. This is the time right now, and I think they got him. But they're trying to keep this. They're trying to keep this the best kept secret.
They want.
And
But that pop, they could literally say CM Punk is coming out at this show. We don't know when. That pop is just gonna United Center.
Well,
gonna have
it's a 1 hour show. It's a 1 hour show. So CM Punk probably comes out at the last 20 minutes of that show, and then start cutting promos. And then
I'm just saying if they did hold off until All Out, and he just came out randomly. I mean, no matter when he shows up, again, knock on wood that he does. I don't think there's been a pop. I mean, Cena's pop was pretty darn huge, but I mean, we gotta be talking about like 90s Austin. Like,
well, yeah. He could very well get the Austin pop, but CM Punk, let's not forget, he had a huge pop in Money in the Bank 2011.
Yeah,
his entrance came out, so that's to kind of give you in Chicago. So that's to give you an idea what it's probably going to be like at minimum.
He had it the same at Payback 2013 when he fought Jericho. I'm just saying, 7 years we haven't seen him in a ring. A little over 7 years. That pop is just going to be insane. I'm so excited just to hear, like, not only from me because CM Punk's my favorite wrestler of all time, and to be able to experience that again, but to see like the fans who have been waiting in that same vein with me, like I'm so excited. And like you said, if the way they've been teasing him for the last like 2 months, if they don't deliver, they're gonna get a lot of shit.
Oh, absolutely. So now let's just get this out of the way. So what you and I discussed a couple days ago is our top 3. Could do top 5, but I think top 3 would be good for now. Top 3 wrestlers of who you would want to see CM Punk go against.
Okay. I've kind of changed. Oh, actually, I kind of want to hear yours first.
No, not mine. Okay. Yeah, because I want to see if we have the same picks whatsoever.
I've changed mine a little bit, and it's like throughout the day as I've been thinking. I think the initial pick is.
So, what's your number 3?
Number 3, Orange Cassidy. Just because I love Orange Cassidy, and I think that could be a fun program. It just, I love Orange Cassidy. I hope he becomes a champion at some point. Just being able to see him get in those 2 different styles. We know that he can work, obviously, and we know, obviously, well, we hope that CM Punk can still work. And I think the fact that Orange Cassidy doesn't really speak, he just doesn't really give a care, and CM Punk is obviously coming back, the voice of the voiceless, as he was called, and he's great at promos. So it'll be interesting to see those 2 if they ever get put together. Number 2, man.
Here, let me give you my number 3 first.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you my number 3 first.
Okay, we'll do all. I got you.
Okay. My number 3, I am going to have to say Aleister Black.
That's okay. That's fair. That's a good one.
There's some nuances that kind of remind me of CM Punk a little bit between the 2 of those guys. I guess maybe like the dark part of their characters. It kind of remind me a lot like of each other. The in-ring work, maybe it's the look, but they kind of remind me a little bit of each other a little bit. And both great ring styles, great in the ring. I think those 2 guys would tear the house down. CM Punk versus Malachi Black.
Oh, for sure. And see, this is a problem with only with top 3, just because and again, it's AEW's talent roster is just so wealthy. There's so many people that I feel like I'm going to leave off this list that I want to see, or I almost said Orange Cassidy again. Jungle Boy, yes, I would love to see that match. Christian Cage, they had some really good matches in WWE, like in ECW and on SmackDown. So I'd love to see them again. But my number 2 is actually going to be a tie, and it's based off of one of my favorite matches of all time, and that is Brock Lesnar and CM Punk at SummerSlam. And so with that knowledge...
Well, so your number 2 would be CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar.
No. That's just this.
So who's your number 2 opponent?
Yeah. It's I'm getting to it. I'm just saying that is the basis for me picking this. CM Punk did so well in this match with a big guy, a guy who can menacingly and quite honestly tear the shit out of him, tear him a new asshole, as they say. So my tie is doesn't get a lot of credit, and I think he's so good, and that's Lance Archer. I'd love to see Lance Archer. I think his in-ring abilities are really good. He's a big man. I like the Jake the Snake kind of thing that they put him with it. Just the promos between him and Jake the Snake would be absolutely insane. I would totally be down for that. But also with the ties with Brian Cage. I really dug Brian Cage. I thought some of his stuff that he did in Lucha Underground was fantastic. Now he comes into AEW, FTW champion. Didn't really do much for me, but now he's kind of getting that push. So yeah, one of those two. Let me see a CM Punk versus a big guy, Brian Cage, Lance Archer type. Maybe a Rusev. I don't think we ever got that match in WWE.
Yeah, I mean that would be pretty interesting.
Not Rusev. You know who I mean.
Miro.
Yeah.
That's okay.
You knew who I was talking about.
My number 2 is Kenny Omega.
See, that's another one. Like I hate that I'm leaving off my list because obviously who wouldn't want to see that match, but favoritism, I guess.
Kenny Omega, despite the fact that he's been working injured like this whole time.
Yeah,
but
quite incredible.
Yeah, so that's why we haven't like the amount of matches he's been working is kind of minimum.
And they're all tag matches.
Yeah, all tag matches too. Yeah, Kenny Omega he's one of the greatest in the world. Why not pair him up with CM Punk?
Yeah, no, I'd definitely be down for that. So I'm gonna give my honorable mention here, and it's Eddie Kingston. Please, just let these two have a promo match against each other. They never have to fight ever. I just want to see a promo with these two in it. I think that CM Punk is the greatest talker, not named Roddy Piper or Stone or The Rock in all of history in wrestling. And I think that Eddie Kingston has been one of the best talkers in all of wrestling for the last decade. Yeah, I love some of his stuff on the indies and like Shikara, Impact. So, give me that, please. But my number 1 pick, I mean, it's pretty obvious, but Hangman Page, please. Those two, I'm the biggest fan of Hangman Page. If it weren't for Orange Cassidy, he'd probably be my favorite wrestler. But he is so damn good in the ring. It's incredible how good he is. It's incredible how young he is still and how much time he's got left. I'm really excited to see him go after the title, and I think a first major feud for him could be CM Punk, and that would be fantastic. So, those are my top 3. The list is way too long, but
absolutely. There's a lot of good matches that you could put with CM Punk for sure. A lot of good fantasy matches that you could
exactly
put in there. So
Matt Hardy, another one too.
Oh God, Matt Hardy, get off us. He's got go away heat.
The Hardy family.
He's got go away heat with me. I'm not gonna lie. All right, so here's my number 1. Okay, and this is all under the assumption that this person has already signed, which I'm pretty sure he has. All the fans are pretty sure he has. It's been announced that he's going to show up in New York. But CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan. So I would say you can kind of build a AEW is all elite stables. You can there's stables everywhere. So you can do a stable with Punk and Bryan and maybe like another WWE guy, kind of do like an NWO takeover kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you can tell that story, but at a certain point, you can have like Punk turn on Bryan and tell the story of how in 2014 Daniel Bryan rose to stardom and stole the spotlight away from CM Punk. And they can kind of tell that story because Daniel Bryan, that spot really should have been CM Punk's had CM Punk stuck around.
The 2014.
Yeah.
That's
I think that was the plan. I think the
really
original plan was like Punk versus Triple H.
Yeah, that was the match for 30. That was the match I heard.
So, like, even like the Daniel Bryan versus Triple H match
sure.
kind of made Daniel Bryan and set the tone for that night for later on.
I guarantee. I mean, he wanted that main event spot. I guarantee that would have been semi-main.
But you can tell, you can definitely tell the story with Daniel Bryan stealing the spotlight and what have you. That's definitely. I think there's a story that can be told there for sure.
Yeah.
And plus, those guys would kill it in the ring. They have experience. We have our faithful fan, David Smith, talking about CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan. I'm right with you there.
He's
got CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston in the ring. MJF, that'd be interesting.
Another guy.
I think that would be interesting as far as like the storytelling and promo work.
That's shit. I'll even see him and Jericho.
Punk and Jericho would be great. There could be a story there. Andrade would be awesome.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the possibilities right now are endless, especially with Daniel Bryan. Possibilities are endless.
Yeah, and I feel like Bryan will get a lot more of those. Like my list, even if we were just doing Daniel Bryan, I don't know. It would change. I'd still love to see him and Hangman, but my number one for Daniel Bryan would be Jungle Boy. I think if there's a match, I already think he's a star, and I think a lot of people do too. But if there was ever a match that you could fantasy book that would, I mean, immediately make a guy a top two, maybe number one babyface outside of Hangman Page in the company, it's if Jungle Boy beats Daniel Bryan. I mean, those two would already have a fantastic match, but oh my goodness. I like the thought of the matches that these guys have. And I know there's been a problem recently, people talking about how AEW's roster is getting a little too bloated.
I think it
is. I think the Rampage will help a lot. I think we'll still be able to see what is that now? 3 hours of AEW, main AEW. So yeah, I think they'll do a good job with that and maybe kind of balance the roster out a little bit. But like you said, the possibilities are endless.
So moving on, we had some interesting news here. So we already talked about CM Punk. So that pretty much covers everything with him. Sean Ross Sapp reports a few minutes ago that Fightful, his website, has reached out to multiple sources connected to Bray Wyatt, and it has confirmed that his absence following WrestleMania had nothing to do with what many people were saying with false accusations about his mental health. Also, his Bray Wyatt's doing just fine. He feels 100% and ready to wrestle. And the other comment was during Bray Wyatt's absence from TV, Fightful learned that he was working on adding creative elements to his character, which was supposed to debut tonight in Orlando. Bray Wyatt was supposed to show up tonight in Orlando. Who knows? You never know what's going to happen. Raw's not even on right now. I usually start Raw around 9:30 and just fast forward through all the crap. Yeah, Bray Wyatt was supposed to show up in Orlando prior to his release. In addition to that, he had family engagements throughout the month of May and June, what have you. So he just had a lot going on, and they gave him this time off. So.
Yeah.
that's where we're at with Bray Wyatt. Where he shows up, I don't know. We spoke extensively about it last week about possibility. Dark Order, Impact, maybe a little stint in New Japan.
I'd like to see him in New Japan. I'd honestly like to see him go to Impact. And maybe that's just because I don't want, because it's already started. I don't want AEW to be known as the WWE 2.0. Like all we do is sign WWE guys.
But AEW has wisely chosen who they've taken
they choose
from
great
WWE.
People. Yeah,
and
exactly.
Already talented people that should have been used a lot better.
It's just, okay, you still look at the people who are like not signed. Bray Wyatt, Buddy Murphy, Braun Strowman, all guys who could be top of the line stars. Where do they fit in AEW? Because you have a bunch of guys like Jungle Boy, like Orange Cassidy, Pac. Where the hell's Pac? I mean, like, I know where he is, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's enough people in AEW right now who could legitimately, I think you could have 20 or so champions and like people who you could be like, oh, this person could be champion, and I don't see a problem with any of them. Honestly, there's a story that can be told, and that's WWE. What, 5, maybe 5, 6 people who you could believably say he could be champion. I just don't. I don't need to see every star go to AEW, but I do like it
to see where these guys land up. And a couple of them will probably make their return to WWE at some point. They're just trying to trim the fat, budget cuts, so to speak. But speaking of which, we had some NXT releases a couple days ago.
Yeah.
So let's just say a lot of the fans were like crucifying this move here, and I'm looking at the list. Like a lot of people were saying that NXT is dead, and this and that. They're being gutted out. One, there's a whole lot of unused talent there that's not on TV, so they're probably going to be building new stars, which is fine. There's definitely no shortage of talent on the NXT PC Performance Evolved, 205. No, there's no shortage of talent there. And that has not even been used yet. And now just think, all right, the names that were released, fairly big names. The one that really Kona, I forget his full name, but I felt like he had some upside. He hasn't been used for like about a year now.
Kona Reeves.
Kona Reeves, yeah. So I felt like he had some upside, and they didn't do enough with him. But look at the rest of the list. Like, other than Bronson Reed was a surprise because he was your most recent North American champion. They were just starting a feud with Adam Cole and Bronson Reed, if you remember, 3 weeks ago.
Now also might be on there.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I thought Leon Ruff was pretty surpurning.
We haven't seen him in weeks, but how about the guy Tyler Russ, who was supposed to be on Diamond Mine? That faction just started.
Didn't Bobby Fish get cut too?
Okay, so Bobby Fish, he really hasn't been doing a lot outside of Undisputed Era, though. Like, that was his thing, and once they split that up, it killed that whole thing.
It's kind of sad that I'll never get my Undisputed Era Fatal 4-Way.
Hey, listen, it was probably close to happen at some point. So now Adam Cole is supposedly is in talks with Vince McMahon. They had their talks on SmackDown, and supposedly Creative was told by Vince to make up some storylines so they can pitch to Adam Cole. As this moment, Adam Cole is only signed through up to NXT TakeOver. In fact, I think the contract is over and they're just on a handshake agreement at this. Yeah. But all the other news also coming out is that Pete Dunne's contract is over too as well.
Gosh.
So, man, I couldn't even tell you where Adam Cole is going to land up. Likely AEW if he doesn't resign. Makes the most sense. Pete Dunne, that's a guy that you gotta sign him and
sure.
make sure he is a major talent on your roster.
Agreed.
They got to start pushing new stars at this point. And John Cena even made a comment last week that about that, which I thought was pretty interesting.
John Cena actually broke the fourth wall.
Yeah. So, and I'm sure he probably didn't get in trouble for that. It's John Cena.
Of course not.
But it's John Cena. He got in trouble for that. So that covers the NXT releases. Again, people were crucifying it. I'm not going to crucify it just because other than Bronson Reed, yeah, there were a couple names that were surprising. But other than that, did most of the list really make an impact on NXT? No. Leon Ruff had a couple good moments and, could have been better if there were more fans. But
that's very true. Like I said, most of this big run against Gargano was in front of no fans.
So that basically covers a little bit of NXT. This one slipped by our fingers. This happened right before we filmed episode 69. And I don't know how we missed this, but Dakota Kai turned on Raquel Gonzalez.
Yeah.
So I think you and I, at one point, we talked about this and said that this would probably happen at some point.
Oh, for sure.
I didn't think it was going to be this soon, though. I was thinking maybe like a little later on.
I just don't really know who would have gone about like fighting Raquel this month or at 36. So I guess I sort of understand it, but I knew it was coming at some point.
Good heel turn.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed the promo that she had.
I don't know if Dakota Kai takes the title off of Raquel Gonzalez. I feel like Raquel Gonzalez just won this championship, and
she's deserving, but I'm sure she won't.
Yeah, I feel like Dakota Kai is like right there, though. I feel like we see a match with them too. With Dakota Kai coming short for the first time together, and then maybe a return match with Dakota Kai finally winning, just to give. I just feel like there's more legs under Raquel Gonzalez's current title run.
Yeah, I enjoy her being built up as the heel. I like that. And now it seems like she might be turning face because of Dakota Kai. So, no, I like that story arc that they have going on.
So one more thing to talk about. Let's talk about how this SummerSlam card is shaping up so far.
Yeah.
So we have Roman Reigns against John Cena. We know that's happening. In which I feel like I got Roman Reigns winning.
Not gonna happen.
I believe so.
Not gonna happen. Now there is a little bias in that pick, and I'll explain it more.
I know because John Cena is your guy. John Cena was the Hulk Hogan of your generation. Yes. And mine was like Bret Hart and Austin and Michaels.
And even when I wasn't always the biggest fan of Cena. The whole Cena wins lol thing. Like you said, I mean, it's just like with Hogan or any super over star like Jericho or something, like people like him, people don't, but you have to it's just like Brady. Brady's the greatest example. And funny enough, both Boston. You hate him or you don't, you got to respect him. I mean, he carried the company for 15, 16 years.
And he just Cena needs one title reign.
He needs
one more title win
to
break Flair.
I don't want it to be Roman because Roman's doing some of the best. Roman has been carrying this company since SummerSlam last year. But gosh, I mean, I would love to see Cena get it. I think now it's the perfect time. He can have a quick little month go into Survivor Series kind of thing and lose it there again and have a little run where Hollywood isn't, barking at his door. He doesn't have to wrestle every week. Show up, on occasion, but yeah, I would love to see Cena do it. There's bias there, but I'm going with Cena.
Now, how about so now we have Balor against Corbin, which I don't believe Corbin's going over.
No way.
That would be awful booking.
That wouldn't surprise me. Vince McMahon is he did send him to NXT.
We'll have a burial segment if that happens for sure.
And you've heard Corbin is like the nicest guy to work with backstage.
They might I think they love him back there.
I've heard that's what I've heard.
But anyhow, Balor's
going over.
Balor's going over for sure, and I think they're going to segue into, regardless of what happens, in your opinion, who wins that title match, Balor will probably be paired up with Cena after that, and then maybe leading to Roman Reigns. So Balor has been featured pretty well lately, knock on wood. But anyhow, what else do we have going on? Oh, okay. The Mysterios against the Usos. I am wondering if the Mysterios split up.
That match has to come at some point, right? We got to
Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio is definitely happening.
We have to get that match.
It's definitely happening, and I'm wondering if maybe you do that at Survivor Series.
You gotta make Survivor Series pretty big.
Yeah, I wonder if you do that at Survivor Series, which happens to be in Brooklyn, baby.
There you go. Where's these? They don't have no WWE shows in Indianapolis no more. I need to get out of here.
Yeah, you gotta come up to the Northeast, man. That's where all the shows happen, or find out like WWE loves the Northeast. But
I know. It's just like, come on, like
and Chicago,
Yeah,
those...
of course, WrestleMania was here when I was not even born.
Yeah, and that was a great WrestleMania too. Frank Manzo raves about Flair versus Savage all the time.
But yeah, that's a great match. But I heard that.
Yeah, it was a great match. I felt the drama. I felt the intensity of that match.
I honestly don't know if I've seen that match.
WrestleMania 8 was a very unique pay-per-view, and I'll tell you why. Okay. If you look at all the matchups, Roddy Piper versus it was almost kind of like old generation versus.
That's the one where he painted his face.
That was 6. And 6 he took on Bad News Brown. Yeah, WrestleMania there was a brawl, so Piper painted his whole half his body black.
I remember that. Remember. Who did he fight at 8 then?
So WrestleMania 8 Piper was defending his Intercontinental title against Bret the Hitman Hart.
Oh, really? Well,
so in that Mania, you had Hogan versus Sid Vicious. You had Hart.
But they could have had Hogan versus Flair. Like, let's not.
I know. And that was probably the original plan.
In that time,
But it was. I think that was the original plan. I think it was Nick's though.
It was because it was supposed to be Vicious versus Savage, and then they did the whole that press conference or whatever.
So you had Savage versus Flair, which was a great match. The storytelling was great. Like I said, Frank raves about it all the time.
I honestly.
And then you had. It's like almost every match was like old generation versus new generation. Like you had
Tito versus
you had Shawn. Jake. Tito Santana did the job to Shawn Michaels, kind of passing the torch. Same thing with Jake the Snake. Jake the Snake took the tombstone from the Undertaker on the outside, and Undertaker rolled him in and got the win. Passing the torch. Yeah. Piper losing the title, Intercontinental title to Bret Hart again. Passing the torch. So there was a lot of it was like a transitional WrestleMania, in my opinion. Flair losing his title to Savage, and Savage getting that win. So it was kind of like more than half the card that you see on WrestleMania 8, especially like all those guys with the 8-man, the Family Feud 8-man tag match.
Yeah.
Like you don't see any of those guys on WrestleMania 9. Like WrestleMania 9 is pretty much like the kickoff WrestleMania of the new generation for like the next 3-4 years to come. So there were a lot of guys that you see on 8 that were not on 9. So it was kind of like a transitional WrestleMania, like the last WrestleMania of that 80s, early 90s generation of with that talent. Yeah. Hulk Hogan's last was 9 and then he comes back at 18, as we know. But yeah, WrestleMania 8 was a good mania in the Hoosier Dome. Have you ever been to Hoosier Dome?
It's not here anymore.
It's the knockdown, right?
Yeah, they I think it was then called the RCA Dome, and then okay, so it was called the RCA. They changed it to the RCA Dome, like when Peyton came to Indy, and then in like 2008, I want to say, they knocked it down, and across the street they built Lucas Oil Stadium, which is what it's been since. Yeah.
I almost went to that stadium. The Jets took on the Colts in a playoff game, I believe it was 2011, and I almost drove to go to that game. I wanted to go so bad.
I think that's they beat the Colts that year, or was that the year before? They played
the year before the Jets lost to the Colts, and then the year after the Jets lost to
the
Steelers. So I think so that was 2010.
Okay.
But anyhow, yeah, so that's really all I got off the top of my head at SummerSlam. I don't have the card in front of me.
I know
we're going to go more into it. Oh, yes. Sasha Banks and Belair. So that's a good one there. I mean, and you got to believe they're probably going to do Rhea Ripley or Charlotte versus Nikki Ash.
We'll do a triple threat.
Yeah. It's 2 weeks away from SummerSlam. I don't know if I have Nikki Ash holding that belt long. And as far as the SmackDown side, we're probably looking at we might be looking at Sasha winning the belt back, but
I think we will.
Who knows?
But like also, I swear to God, if I will do my own burial, if Charlotte Flair walks out of SummerSlam with the WWE Women's title, I will bury that.
Oh my goodness! I might. We got it. We got to get a video prepared for that.
You know how much I don't like. I respect her. Again, I respect her just like Brady. I don't like Brady, but I know he's the GOAT. Like I understand that Charlotte's good, but I don't like her. Do not get her off my TV.
Speaking of Charlotte Flair. Again, the IWC is going crazy this summer. Andrade making comments that he would love to have her by his side in the same company.
Hey, now honestly, that would be great. no joke. But I would love to see Ric Flair. I don't think he'd do it because it sounds as weird as his mind is. It sounds like he'd still get in the ring if he could, and I'm sure that somebody will pay him to, but I'd like to see him manage Andrade and Charlotte in AEW. That would be great. Like make them the new like McMahon family almost.
Listen, I gotta say something here before we just touch on All Out really quick. Okay. If CM Punk actually goes over to AEW, which we believe he is, Daniel Bryan, now you already have Black, you already have Andrade, Miro's tearing it up. Yeah. And then not to mention you got free agents out there galore, Adam Cole, you got Pete Dunne, Bray Wyatt. Let me tell you, before we even talk about Charlotte Flair even going to AEW, I believe that viewership-wise, not necessarily profitability, but viewership-wise, is going to take a huge hit. And WWE is slowly turning into a sinking ship right now.
WWE will be surpassed by AEW, Raw from Dynamite, by the end of the year. I fully believe that in ratings.
I believe that too. I cannot disagree.
On a consistent basis with I'm kidding. I say this because, like, again, we don't know this for sure, but I promise you,
Just even one, not even CM Punk, just Daniel Bryan alone is going to turn that needle a little bit.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. It's just either of them. Like, I think it's more for Punk just because he hasn't been in the wrestling ring in 7 years. I mean, I'm sure that new show, Heels, the wrestling show on Stars, is probably not going to be good. But it's got CM Punk in it, like in a wrestling ring. Like people want to see that. Like, I almost feel like whenever, knock on wood, if and when he comes to AEW, every time that he is on, the ratings will be fantastic because people have just they say it, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Like I will guarantee you there is not a single match, moment, whatever that I will miss if it involves CM Punk in AEW. I'm that excited, and I'm damn sure not the only one who feels the exact same way. So yes, end of the year, AEW's Dynamite is consistently beating Raw and SmackDown in the ratings, just like WCW did to Monday Nitro. Honestly, let me see them move Dynamite to Mondays just to fuck with AEW.
I wasn't gonna say it, but I was thinking it. I was certainly thinking it. Really quick, All Out. So far, it's shaping up that. So here's the thing: Christian Cage has been teased as the number one contender. Meanwhile, you still have Hangman in this program with Omega. So I'm not too.
I'm saying Full Gear.
You're saying Full Gear.
Yeah,
you're saying Full Gear. Okay. I mean, listen, and how's Christian at the top of the rankings at only 7 matches? I know he hasn't lost a match, but still.
Who knows?
Yeah. But anyhow, again, I still think that Hangman's not quite out of it yet as the possible contender for Omega at All Out, but it's looking like Christian as far as that goes. Do we have anything for the Young Bucks?
Not yet.
Okay, nothing established yet. I mean, I
don't even know who they'd be rumored to fight, honestly.
Yeah. It's, you know what? Maybe you do a tag team turmoil at some point.
Well,
tag
they
team, like a tag team. What's that?
They called out like the whole like tag team division. Like, there's nobody else to beat. So I'm wondering if they're gonna do like a new tag team, or maybe they have that. Obviously, they have a connection with New Japan, so maybe we could see a New Japan tag team.
Or you could do like a number one contender tag team battle royal,
for sure,
or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, listen,
battle royal
only
just because they already have the women's casino one that was.
You only have 3 weeks to build this thing. It's literally 3 weeks away until All Out week.
That is weird.
So at this point, I think you do like a number one tag team battle royal or something. So that remains to be seen. Miro, I'm not too sure who he's going to be paired up yet. So the only thing and then we got Jericho and MJF.
That's happening.
Yeah. So that's happening. It's definitely happening. Jericho will somehow get his win.
They cannot. I'm sorry.
Match 4 is this week. Jericho versus Wardlow.
I know, but I'm saying when him and MJF get in the ring, it can't be a singles match. Like, there's got to be a stipulation to where this shit ends. Like, this feud that's been going on for really good storytelling for almost a whole year and a half. Like, it has to end. It can't just end with a singles match. That's what I'm saying. Like, are we talking an Iron Man match? Are we talking like a version of the Hell in a Cell? Like, Judy Bagwell on a pole match.
And MJF may throw in some random stipulation once Jericho gets his win after Wardlow this week, and then whoever it is next week.
Hopefully somebody cool.
So yeah, we'll have to see where that goes. I pretty much covered everything that we need to cover this week. Tommy, anything that you need to add to this episode before we close it out?
Not that I can think of. I think you hit it all pretty well on the head.
Yeah, I mean, again, not a whole lot going on the past week or two, except for some build-ups and some releases that were announced, and it's just going to be really interesting to see where everybody lands.
We're waiting for SummerSlam, and once SummerSlam happens, then we're. I think once this Friday happens with Rampage.
So we got episode
71.
71 is going to be coming soon at you, and then SummerSlam weekend. We got that coming at you too as well. We'll keep everybody updated when that show is. So, and then not to mention All Out. We will definitely do an aftermath show. I will be live from Chi-Town. Whether I don't know how it's going to be done yet. Maybe I hop on my laptop right after the event is over and just hop right on and just go right in right after the show. I don't know what that's going to look like yet, but
we'll figure it out.
We had some great viewership with the last aftermath with the AEW Double or Nothing. Great viewership. So. We know there'll be viewers for that. So we'll definitely get that in. The aftermath post-show. Cannot wait for that. So that will definitely happen regardless of where I am. We'll figure that out. But we will definitely do it while in Chi-Town for sure. I will be prepared for that. I'm going to be there from Wednesday to Tuesday. So I'm going to be there for about 6 days. So we will definitely be running a couple shows from there.
I'm jealous.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, we got the Dynamite, we got the Rampage, we got the All Out. We're probably gonna try to get a Chicago Cubs game in there, Milwaukee Brewers. So can't wait. It's gonna be cool. But for those of you guys that are watching, this is the Deep Six Pro Wrestling Podcast, episode 70, coming to a wrap. Make sure you are subscribed on YouTube. Make sure you share this with your family, your friends that like wrestling. Share on social media. Share the link on social media if you're watching this.
Share it to yourself. If you're talking to yourself on your drive and you're just like, gotta listen to Deep Six Pro Wrestling. There you go. Share it with yourself.
So make sure you guys are getting the word out. And again, we got a very, very busy season coming up with SummerSlam and All Out. Can't wait. We have some good stuff coming. The All Out Pro Wrestling Podcast will debut soon. As soon as that name change happens, we will let you guys know. That will happen soon. Should we do it for All Out? I don't know.
But you're talking about the Aftermath? You said All Out. And
the Aftermath Pro Wrestling Podcast. So that name change is happening soon. We will keep you guys posted of when that goes out to you.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, make sure you guys give us a follow and share. Help us out. And that pretty much it. What's that?
We follow back if anybody's interested in that. Wrestling, you can follow me and Wayne. I tweet a lot about the baseball, and I'm sure Wayne is, as we get into crunch time and as the Rays continue to build their division lead, you'll start to see Wayne kind of deteriorate because he knows that the Red Sox have no chance.
Episode 70 is in the books. You guys all have a good night. Talk to you all soon.